Hi, my name is Dr. Todd Cunningham, and this is my video series about a conversation around mental health in university and college. Today, I want to talk a bit about loneliness. So, last time when I was talking about stress and how the brain responds, I indicated the first defense mechanism to high levels of stress, which is just how much energy our bodies are using at any given time. It is an indicator of when we are getting to a point where we can't cope anymore. um, that our first defense is a social engagement piece where we kind of look for a person in our environment that is safe, that we can pull in. Now, for some of us, we actually feel very lonely. We might actually be in an environment where there's lots of people around, might be in a dorm room and there's tons of people around, but we actually feel lonely. And lonely is a very subjective component. Loneliness is where we feel that we're not being seen by other people, we're not appreciated by other individuals, and we're not really connecting with others around us. See, in the mental health literature, we know that one of the best protective factors from all mental health is when you have a really good friend. You have what we call a reciprocal friendship, where I say that you're my friend and you say that I'm your friend. And we have a safe friendship. We're able to talk about how we're feeling, what's going on in our lives. We can share with each other. Because when we have a person like that, then we can use that social engagement piece to be able to ward off those stressors that are happening within our lives. We can talk about them, and that helps to deregulate us, relax our system. However, if we don't have that, then we can run into situations where we can feel very lonely. In fact, the research shows that individuals between 18 and 24 experience some of the highest loneliness out there. And it kind of makes sense. Many of us have left our original friend groups to go off to college and university. We're into new social groups that we haven't seen before. There's not necessarily the same kind of community that's being built up, or even if there is a community, even again, we're around with other people, we're not finding those people that we really connect with. And so therefore we can be among lots of individuals, but still not have that personal connection. In fact, you can also be in a romantic relationship or married and still feel lonely because if you don't feel that connection, you don't have that ability to share with your partner, then that becomes a real challenge. So it's really important to recognize that loneliness is a perception that's going on and that we have to really kind of look at ourselves and kind of evaluate, do we feel disconnected, unseen, unappreciated by those around us. And if we do, then that's going to have an impact on us. That's going to be a stressor to us because we're not going to feel like we don't have that protective factor against other stressors that come into our lives.